So I'm this far, and I wanted to show you some more quilting, how I go around the stuff in the cheater quilt. So this is part of the little sheep. If you can see it, there's a head, it's upside down, but I'm going around the edge of the sheep. So I'm going to go around this, and as you can see, I did both sides of the dark area. So it makes it stand out a little more. And then I did each bow, and I'm going around each of these tiny little flowers. Okay, so I try to go around anything that stands out, you know, like even these little bows and the bees. I will go around those, and as you can see, I went around each of the flowers and the leaves and the stems, the flower pots, things like that. So, and sometimes I'll add a little bit of my own design. So I'll draw lines or make hearts or X's, different things. If I have a little pattern of a star pattern or something small that I can add to it, just to change it up a little bit. So, like I always say, it's your quilt, make it the way you like. So you can add anything you want to it. If you have like open spots where they don't have a design, you can add stuff. So, or you can just do the design the way it is. But I'm going to go around the edge of the sheep, the little lamb sheep, whatever you like to call it. Sorry, making a blurry spot in my video here. Okay, so when I come to this area, it's the end of the trim. So I just go under between the fabrics with my needle like that, and then turn my quilt a little bit here, and then I start again. And I usually go down through the fabric once, down and then back up to kind of anchor the thread so that it's not giving a pucker or too much of a pull right there where I went under the fabric. Because if you pull too hard, it'll, make it a pucker look. Like it'll give you a pucker you don't want. So you do want a quilted look, you just don't want a pucker. If that makes any sense. Maybe I should have puckered it and then I would show you, and then you can take it out. If you pull it too tight, like I have gotten my thread in a knot and trying to get the knot out, I pulled the thread too tight. So if you do that and it's all bunchy and it doesn't look right, just go underneath your quilt and go with your hand and smooth it out, and it'll smooth out pretty well. You still have your stitch pucker, but you don't have the odd looking pucker that you don't want. I don't know if I can show that to you. If I pull it really tight, sometimes it wants to pucker up too much. Okay, so I will go through underneath and show you how it will pucker like that. You don't want that little type of pucker in there. It's so if you get that and you can either smooth it out underneath, or if you made a mistake and went through in the wrong area or just did it totally wrong, you can go under, take your needle and pull that little loop out and do it again. So, I mean, there's ways to fix your mistakes, that's what I'm saying. If you catch them. Sometimes I have gotten tiny little knots in this thread because it's a bold thread, and I didn't catch them right away because they were so small until after I'd done it. So what you could do is cut the knot off and redo that area, or just leave the knot if nobody else is going to notice it. If it's small enough, you know, leave it. But for the most part, I am always watching. That's what happens though when I watch TV, like, and I quilt. Sometimes I will, my stitches will get uneven, or I will get knots and I don't pick it up, like notice it. Or when your second thread gets stuck, sometimes I'll pull it and then I'll pucker it too much. So you just take your hand underneath and smooth it out some. You gotta make sure you get all your material out from underneath your quilt, or it can get bunched up and in the way, and sometimes you can catch it in your needle. You know, you might not realize it at first, and then you have to go back and take that out. So just make sure you get your material out from underneath your quilt when you're moving it around. I'm just going along here, quilting the edge. And once I have that done, I will start on the little flowers. They're a little bit tedious, but it does make the quilt look nice. If you can see, I did these over here, and I didn't do these, so you can see a difference. Or I did these and not those yet. So I will be getting those finished probably today, and then I will move my quilt hoop to the next section again. I'm going to finish up this little section here. Alright. Just tie the knot off, go between the fabric, cut my thread. Okay, so there's like a little area of shadow here, and I've been with the other part of the quilt. I will show you here. I've been going around that too, like right in here. I did another line to go above the light colored shadow of, so I think I'm going to do that right here too. It's not as dark, but it goes, if you can see it, it goes up to here. So I'm going to stitch that area. Just to, that didn't go through right. It just gives it a little bit more stitching and puffiness. It's not a big noticeable, you know, coloring difference, but I can see it, so I feel like I want to quilt that. So, but like I said, it's up to each person, you know, do what you feel is what you want to do. If that's something you don't think is necessary, then don't do it. I sometimes will, and sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes I won't do it. So, you know, it's just whatever you feel like doing. So here, you know, it's coming up to the points, and it doesn't come down around here, which I could make it go that far, but I think I'm going to stop it right up here. So there's a little pucker where I pulled it, so I just rub it with my finger and it evens out. So there you are. It kind of looks like I do need to go down around there. The bow is right there, so maybe I will. Sometimes I just don't know until I do something if I'm going to do something else. So I will thread my needle again. If I can see the needle. Some days I have a difficult time finding that needle eye in the needle. And I just might have to get another pair of glasses just so I can thread the needle. All right. Oh boy. And then sometimes I have to trim it because I've been trying to thread it for so long it'll fray on the end, which this isn't too bad, but if I trim it again, just trim a little bit off the edge, it'll go through the needle again. So, okay, I'm gonna start here where I left off, and I will make a little bit of a stitch right there and bring it down to make it look even. Even though there's not a shadow, I still feel like it needed that. Sometimes I'll take my pencil and draw a line, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I have taken my stitches out and drew a line after the fact, but now here I have a knot, so I have to get my needle and like take the knot out. Okay. And there you have it. All right, I'm gonna keep working on the flowers here, and this is probably the longest video I've done in a while. It's 15 minutes. All right, so you guys keep quilting, have fun, and have a good day. Bye.